Watch me turn this into this. Keep watching. What's up, guys? Welcome back to my channel where I show you how I'm starting my own new business. So today we are in a old room in my house. This room used to be my brother's room. Actually, a couple of my brothers have lived in here. So we are remodeling this room, and as you can see, I'm kind of standing in the finished product. I also considered another room in my house, but that one did not work out. I think this one worked out better with the closet because it just gave me an additional space. I have a room in the house in the basement that would have worked very well, but it does not have a closet. And I think this space up here is a lot quieter as well. So I knew I needed a safe space for my inventory, for private labeling, for me to be able to print out my shipping labels, and also to pack my orders. That was the most important thing. But another thing is we do own animals, and I know people can be allergic to them. So I wanted also a safe space that was separate from my house and my animals and the safety of other people by not putting them at risk. So I really wanted to make sure that I had my inventory in a safe space that was separate from my private life. I really just needed a space to store all my inventory, to be able to have a space for private labeling, and also to package my orders. I didn't want it to be in my office downstairs because it was just already congested with my own clothing and my own products that I have personally. So I took it upon myself to find a space in this house that I can use for that purpose alone. As you can see, this room was so damaged. It had been through so many years of a boy living in here, and you know how that goes. The carpet was really dirty. The walls needed to be repaired. There were holes upon holes in the wall. I actually had one of the biggest holes I've ever seen, and I was able to cover it up. And it was surprising because it literally took me months. I knew I needed to fill the holes. So I did a ton of research on how to do this. I know that I could have just called a professional, but I really like doing DIY projects. And from the looks of things, it turned out so well. So I really just took my time and really studied what I needed to know about how to repair everything in the room that I needed to repair. Once I was able to figure that out, it was go time. I started with priming the walls, filling the holes. The holes took a couple days to fill. As you can see, it was in phases because there was actually one giant hole right behind me that you can't even tell it's there now, but there was a huge hole in the wall that I had to cover with pounds of mesh and plaster, things that I had no clue what I was doing with, but I, just took to YouTube like a normal millennial, and I figured it out, and it came out so well. I'm so proud of myself and how I did this, and I did this all on my own, which makes it even better. So I knew I wanted tables that were going to be standing. As you can see, the tables here, they're very high up, which I knew I wanted because I didn't want this to be a place where I was relaxing. I wanted it to be a place where I was productive and working, moving, keeping myself on my feet and getting my work done. So I know I wanted high up tables. I had so much trouble finding these tables. They are pieced together. They were not put together. The tables did come with legs. I got the tabletops from IKEA. I believe they're the Trotten tabletops. They're really reasonably priced, and that's why I got the tabletop. But once I saw how much the legs cost, it was unbelievable, to be honest. $400 for legs on a $35 tabletop blew my mind. I could not believe. I'm like, well, this is how they're getting you. You see what I'm saying? Like, it was unbelievable. And I knew, I was like, time to DIY this. But once I got the table, I realized that they made this tabletop for those legs and nothing else. You literally could not fit anything else on this. So the whole purpose of selling the table separately didn't make sense at all. I did still purchase the tables before I chose legs, and I think that's where my error started. That's where my trouble started. It took me about 6 months to find legs that actually fit this table. As you can see, I tried so many legs. I know Amazon almost flagged my account because how many times I returned table legs to them because they're like, what are you doing, lady? And I knew I needed something tall. I wanted to be able to have a standing desk. One that didn't move so much as to like the ones that you see come higher up or lower. So after finding some legs that were not right, I returned them, but not before I actually put holes in the table. What happened was the tables are not very thick. They're maybe an inch or two thick, and the nails were probably 3-4 inches thick. So once I tried to put the table legs on, just to see how it looked, I put them on one tabletop, flipped it over, and I had 16 beautiful holes in the top of my table. Lovely, lovely day that was. So it became such a stress trying to find something that would work for this. And then trying to find screws that would work for the legs because the tabletops are so thin. Any screw longer than 2 inches was puncturing the table on the other side. All in all, I was able to find table legs that worked out perfect. I do still have holes in almost every single one of these tables. I could not find small screws that were stable enough to hold up the tables and be sturdy without having to be so small and unreliable. The tables would have collapsed if I didn't have longer screws to make this work. So I am just dealing with it at the moment. It's not ideal. It wasn't the greatest, solution, but it's working. The tables are standing and they look okay for now. We'll see how long they hold up with stability, but I think the legs are very sturdy. They do have posts at the bottom of the legs that really give me the flat surface that is really helping on the carpet. So as you know, I am going to be private labeling my products. So I really needed a space to sew, and I've been sewing since I was a little girl. So setting this up in the side corner here, it kind of brought tears to my eyes because I was just so happy to have that private space that I could just sew. I love just walking up to my sewing machine, turning it on, and stepping on the pedal. I love sewing so much, and I'm so happy that it's all set up for me to just walk up to it and start sewing every day. I have been actually, since I've had it set up, been sewing all my clothes, those random clothes that you have that have like a slight hole in them. Yeah, I've been just sewing them and getting my life. The other thing that I needed was a place to be able to look at my orders, to look at my shipping stuff, maybe even the returns. So I knew I needed a computer station or somewhere I could just be organized to do the work. I didn't want to be running back and forth downstairs, upstairs to one computer or just to print labels. So I also set up a computer station behind me. This is my old Mac that I've had. It is ancient because I could tell how ancient this is because of how heavy this one is. But old trusty dusty is still going, so thank you, Apple. The computer is strictly going to be for me printing out shipping labels, maybe even returns, and just pretty much looking at my website. I have a new computer downstairs that works perfectly fine for any other processes, and that's why I'll be doing all of that. I also had to get inventory storage. That was something that was kind of a personal choice. You really have to decide what you think is going to work for you and what you think is going to be the best solution. The racks seem to be plausible. I watched so many shipping room tour videos on YouTube that I was overwhelmed, and it really just seemed like it was all of a preference, and it was about the products that you carry. I am going to be carrying mostly clothes, accessories, and I wanted to have something where I could just pull them right off the shelf, turn around, and start packaging it. I wanted everything to be in one place, and these racks are allowing that. I also bought tubs for the inside of the closet just for additional storage. That's going to be a great to have as a backup. And lastly, everyone needed a packing station. The packing station really is necessary. You need somewhere to pack your orders, and you need a neat place to pack your orders. You know, you're sending this off to someone else's home, so when it arrives, you want it to be safe and, of course, you know, pretty. And that was the most important thing to me too, just having a place where I can package my orders, make them look beautiful for my customers. I was not sure about how much space I needed, but honestly, in the beginning, I don't think I'm gonna need too much space. I'm anticipating a slow crawl, so this is going to work out perfectly for me. This room also has carts. I was so concerned about having everything on top of the desk. My desk downstairs has a lot of things on top sometimes, and it's distracting. It's too much, and everything is in the way. So the main thing I knew I wanted was carts to go right under the tables. The tables were way tall enough that I could fit a huge cart under there full of supplies, you know, full of things that I'm gonna need. I have a cart specifically for my sewing products. So, you know, my measuring tapes, my thread, my needles, my thimbles, all the good jazz that I use for my sewing, for my private labeling. So I have a cart for that. I have a cart for all of my shipping items, my scissors, my box cutters, markers, everything you can think of. I have it all over there. I thought the carts were going to be the best thing for me because they will have wheels. I can move them around, so I can kind of take them around the room with me as well and really create a productive area. One of my favorite carts that I actually just bought, which is actually a shoe cart. It's a shoe rack that you're supposed to store shoes on, but I thought, how great would this be to be able to store my garment bags and my poly mailers. I thought that was so innovative and such a good thing, and when I actually put it together, I was just like so giddy because organization makes me so happy because I could just go up there, pull off a garment bag, and go about my day. It does not take, you know, I don't have to guess the sizing or anything. Everything is labeled and to the point, and it's beautiful. So I just really wanted to have a separate space. Having the security of all of my things in one place really prevents damage to my inventory or damage to the packages that I'm sending out to my customers. I really wanted to make sure that I was doing this the right way. This room is coming together so nicely, and I cannot wait for you guys to be able to see the full room tour. Stay tuned for the next video. Thanks for watching.